we're going to switch gears a little bit now because we're about to get a first look at Time Magazine's list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Rick Stengel is Time's managing editor. Rick, always good to see you. Good morning.
Matt, good to be with you.
It's always an eclectic list, so for the purpose of perspective for what we're about to talk about, your definition of influence is what?
It's about the ideas and actions of people who inspire others. It's not about the influence of power, but the power of influence.
All right, so the good way to put it. Okay. Let's start, because we need a little lightness here for a moment. Pop culture. You choose Jennifer Lawrence, a young actress who's had quite a year. She won an Academy Award. Why she make the list?
She made the list. Jodie Foster wrote about her. Part of the Time 100 is the pairings of the people who write about them. She has a new style of acting. The Hunger Games is going to be one of the biggest franchises in film, and she's influencing young actors and actresses everywhere.
A lot of people from the political world make the list year after year. You've chosen Rand Paul as one of those this year. His essay is written by Sarah Palin.
Yes.
Why the pairing and why Rand Paul? He's on one of the covers.
Well, he's reconciling the kind of libertarian movement of the Republican Party and the conservative side, and who better than Sarah Palin to say he's the new it boy of the Republican Party?
All right, pop culture, Jay-Z makes the list. He's got an awful lot of things cooking right now, and I was fascinated to see that you have New York City's Mayor Michael Bloomberg writing his introduction.
Yes, well, basically the mayor says that Jay-Z is kind of a deputy mayor in New York. He's a kid from Brooklyn. He's expanded out of the hip-hop movement to become an entrepreneur. He's really influencing a lot of people.
The next person I actually thought you might name as the person of the year last year, Malala Yousafzai, a 15-year-old Pakistani girl who fought for education rights in her country under the Taliban, was shot in the head by a Taliban gunman, is now recovering in the UK. I guess it's obvious why she makes the list.
Yes, but it's interesting. I think she's a great person to talk about now because she's not only a symbol of educating girls, but she's a symbol of resilience, which is something that we need to think about now. And Chelsea Clinton wrote the little profile of her.
President Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, they both make the list. Has a sitting president ever not made the list?
I believe in the last year of George Bush's second term, he did not make the list.
You might get some heat for this one then, but why Obama and Biden?
Well, Obama, you can always have the president, and the president, his profile is written by Hillary Clinton, and she talks about he's a president who delivers. Obviously, he is everywhere in the most important issues of our time. Eric Cantor wrote about Joe Biden, calls him a friend, calls him somebody who can actually reconcile differences in the House and the Senate, and that's important.
And another local politician who's a frequent guest on this show and a guy who gets an awful lot of attention is New Jersey's Governor Chris Christie. Obviously, there are some people looking to him for 2016 as a possible strong contender for the Republican nomination. He makes your list, and the essay, the introduction, written by a young person.
Yes, an 8-year-old girl from Port Monmouth, I think, New Jersey, who he comforted in the wake of Sandy. And she wrote a lovely little essay about how he had helped her family and the people of that town. It's very moving.
Before I let you go, obviously there are like 7 different covers for this magazine.
I know. We forgot to talk about that.
I know. Okay. And they're going to hit the stand soon. Incredibly busy news week. For somebody who does what you do, what's your take on all this?
Well, in fact, we have an iPad edition about the Boston bombing. Again, to go back to this idea of resilience, I think the story is so much about how we have reacted to that bombing, in Boston and elsewhere in Washington. So I think that's inspiring.
Rick Stengel, Time's 100 most influential people in the world. It's great to have you here.